Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
I just wanted to say something to you before we started.
So we haven't started.
Yeah, we're starting.
Okay.
No, we're starting. Okay. Hello. Top of the hoo-hoo to you. Top of the hoo-hoo to you, Josh. How are you this weekend? Okay, I'm going to start the show.
Okay.
With a fakey voice and all the things that you hate. You ready?
Okay.
Hey, Josh.
Hi, Andy.
Pretty good.
But I didn't ask you how you are.
I know you didn't say that, but that's the kind of show it is. How's it going, Joshua?
Doesn't matter what I say.
All right, then. So 65 degrees down south. I forgot the bit that I'm doing. Oh, I'm having a good day. It's Monday.
That's fantastic. It's your fave.
It's my fave. Did you know that this Friday, the Navy's... What did Letterman have when the Navy came to town? It's Navy Week.
Right.
Is it Navy Week? It's Navy Week this week, Josh. I'm very excited about it. Okay, stop it. Now, here's the other thing I could do.
What could you
I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put your glasses back on, please.
Okay, here's what I'm doing. This is if the Beatles, you could say, did they try to sound a little more American when they started? I don't know. Maybe they did, or maybe they just always sung American with an American flair, right?
Sure.
Okay, but what if they really? This song would not be popular if you really heard like a New York accent, right? I read the news today. Oh boy, woo boy. That's all I have.
That's it? Oh man, I thought you just like laid out a carpet for like a 5-minute chunk here.
But I was walking around the house going, I didn't do it as well then. I read the news today. Oh boy. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to cheapen it.
I read the news today. Oh boy.
What happened?
A lucky man made the grade.
You missed that the English army had just won the war. Oh, you're doing a different goddamn verse, aren't you?
Aren't I?
Aren't you?
Aren't I?
Aren't I? Now, the part of John Lennon was played by John Lennon, and it sounds trippy. Right? But then all of a sudden, and I'm just guessing here, although I know already. And then all of a sudden it's Paul. I got up, I had a drink, I put a thing across, I had the telly with my lift. I went downstairs and had I can't think of one English expression. Wait, did I mess it up?
No. Well, no, you didn't mess it up. I mean,
John Lennon wrote the beginning,
purposely
right?
Messed it up, yes.
Right, but John Lennon he did the I heard the news today. Oh boy, that's him, right?
Yeah.
And because he had, and then people were very intelligent back then. They're like, what does he really mean by the whole? Like, people couldn't figure out that in lyrics, you take Flights of Fancy, those holes in the Royal Albert Hall, those are the ones that later killed Paul McCartney. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing, right? I mean, they were not doing like heroin something. Someone said they were doing a heroin thing. Holes in the wall.
I don't think so. I don't think it was that coded, no.
No. I'm saying it wasn't. People accused them of all their songs.
I understand. I mean,
even Lucy with the Sky with Diamonds.
Why someone would even go on to believe that Paul McCartney wasn't even alive?
Because I'll tell you right now why he absolutely was not alive. I don't know if you believe it, but he was not alive. He's pointing.
I believed it. I believed it for a second when Ebony and Ivory came out, but other than that.
Because it was so terrible.
It was awful. Yeah.
Okay, look, the finger pointing at the back of the album. It says Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. How could that not be the time that Paul McCartney was killed and replaced with? And why would they say Billy Shears in the song if they weren't saying Billy Shears is now Paul McCartney? What would be the point of having it that way?
Billy sheared his head clean off.
And what do they mean? The barber on Penny Lane, he collects heads. All right, enough of this bit, but it's very funny.
Yeah.
Do you think it's funny?
No, not so much. I mean, it's like it's 1971 funny.
Oh, I read the news today. Oh boy, so stupid. It's so stupid because the premise of the joke is that if someone was singing it, but no one sings that way. No one sings like, oh boy.
They do in musicals. In musicals.
Or Jerry Lewis. Okay. I'm sure that you like TV, right?
I like
you
TV.
Enjoy the program.
I like TV.
But when you see those idiots, I like Donald Faison. He's a nice fellow. But the other idiot.
I don't want to hear this anymore. This is you spent too much time on the
okay,
singing of two actors.
I have one more addition for it. One more addition for it. It goes, oh, what a beautiful. It goes, oh, what a, and the other guy goes, oh. And my question is that a song from like Oklahoma?
I believe it is. Yes.
Why? And so they paid for that. God, that means it was even a more expensive commercial. Goes, hey, good news. We got the rights to Beautiful Morning.
I think the prices for Rodgers and Hammerstein have come down substantially over there.
That must be it. That must be it. Yeah, okay. So it's like it's $1 more than public domain if you'd like to have it. Mm.
If high schools can afford it.
Oh, what a terrible musical. I don't care. It's sweeping down the who-was, sweeping down the plane. It's a look. God bless everybody who lives there. It's a horrible, horrible
I don't
state.
think I've ever seen Oklahoma nailed.
No, I don't think I've seen one. I haven't seen one scene from it.
I've seen at least one scene. I've probably seen 4 or 5 scenes from it just in compilation clips, but I've never seen the whole thing.
So I'm assuming, well, you've seen this kind of dancing, the sweeping dancing.
I understand what's happening. Those are the scenes I've seen, yes.
I was going to get Oklahoma and the Oklahoma. One name. Oh, this is from there, right? You got to wash that. No, I know that, but you got to wash that man right out of my hair.
I think that's not South even Pacific. That. I think that's South Pacific. I would
love. Oh, now people love South Pacific. In fact, Andy, who's the one who argues about South Pacific? The musician guy, Andy Paley. Yeah. He goes to
Andy Paley arguing about something? I have a hard time believing that.
I thought I was arguing about things, but no.
He's a cantankerous one.
He's cantankerous because he has he's a brilliant musician, and he has the ability to only hear when things are right.
I filled in playing bass for the Naked Trucker band a couple times, and he was playing drums, and he would just be like glaring at me and yelling changes at me, which never helps me. Don't yell the changes.
That's not good, Josh. You're not saying were you playing bass?
Yes.
You're saying I'm here to play bass. I know how to play bass, but don't fucking make me into a Stanley Clark guy. Is that right?
Well, I think his bar was a lot lower than Stanley Clark for what he wanted from me. But
now,
the thing about Naked Trucker was it was like such a blend of so many different cues and songs that it was very hard to get on board if you were a sub.
I imagine it was hard. Now, but that doesn't account for glaring.
That's just him. That's just him.
Did you miss all the rehearsals? Is that what happened? You couldn't go to the rehearsals?
I did the one pre-show rehearsal that was,
and that's enough. That's enough for a free
And I had
gig.
an incredibly detailed but convoluted chart in front of me.
Now that would make me see. The thing is, like, if I had to play, let's say, Andy, we now accept that you're a famous singer, songwriter, guitarist. We've booked the Servite Theater. I played there once as a comic, and you're playing tonight. I would vomit. I would throw up. Because I'm not comfortable. The string's going to break. And I don't even have a consistent way of, when I do that thing when I knock my hand against the bottom of the guitar again, I'm not going to be able to sound like.
You're getting yourself all worked up like this is actually happening.
No, it's not. That's the part that's untrue. That is the part that's untrue about it. Oh, I had some great topic to talk to you about.
Oh, good.
Oh, my God.
That could save the show.
No. I'm not kidding this time. I am not going to remember it. I have no idea what it is, but shh. Now, when I first saw your face, or I like to call it pisk, today, you looked disturbed. You looked not disturbed. Give me more words for that aren't disturbed, but look off-put? No, not off-put.
I think flustered.
Concerned.
I think flustered, probably, because I had all these tech problems before we got on the air.
And is it because you're working with the great Andy Kindler and you don't want anything to go wrong?
That's right.
The sad thing is that my ego, the problem with narcissistic people is the reason why I can't accept that I can sing, I can do all these things is because in your mind, you make yourself, I'm the greatest singer. If Josh doesn't tell me I'm the greatest singer, and that I could have been Stephen Stills or whatever.
Right.
That's where the pain comes in.
Yeah.
Pain?
It seems like pain.
Yeah, it's painful.
It seems like pain.
Yeah.
But I think that's because you've built up this legend of yourself.
I got very excited today. I know you're not going to believe this, but I talked to my therapist, and I know she said, I doubt it's going to happen. Doesn't know. I said, I want to do the 3 following things at the same time. I want to work. I want to take out the recorder and start recording songs. And then she said that was a good idea. But I said by January 11th, it's too late already to me to do any of them. But I'm telling you right now, I'm pulling out that machine. I'm going to warm up with Karen.
I think that's a mistake, honestly, right now. I think work on your set. Don't bring out multi-hobbies here to give yourself an excuse to not work on the other stuff. I know this game. This is not me. This isn't me trying to just peg you. I know this game personally.
You're a professional here.
I'm the prince of can't buckle down. I can't do it. But I know all the ways that I fuck myself. And one of the ways you can fuck yourself is by putting artificial importance on a side project.
Yeah.
When there's business at hand.
Okay, but what I'm trying to do is not what I've done my whole life, which is I'll start cramming for the stand-up special a week before in April. I want to work consistently from now through April, spots every week. And so I think you're right. Maybe.
But the real thing
has to fall by the side.
I mean, the thing about writing stand-up, as you know and I know, is
you can't sit in a room, right?
You can't say, I mean, some people can, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really about changing your whole your radar system.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like when I know I have to write stand up, I am perceiving the world in a different way. But so allow yourself to do that. You know?
I have started to do because I've already pitching all these ideas to Susan to see if they're good ideas.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not really. She says we know not to go by her. She says don't go by me.
Right.
But I can try a couple things. You think this is a good topic? Ultimately, I think I'm going to need to go to a club around March 15th. No, I'm going to start very soon.
You should start soon.
Yes. This week,
just to remind yourself you like it, if for no other reason.
The thing is, I never not like it. It's just really a matter of being. At first, when the pandemic happened, I said, "Oh, it's a relief. I don't need to do it like a bicycle."
Right.
But if you're not doing it and immersing yourself in it, you're just not immersing yourself in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's just a period of getting your chops back, and that, you know, and that's, I don't mean like being able to get it tight. I just mean getting on stage and not having it all be about remembering your material.
And people will go, "I love that about you. That's what I love about you." And people will say, no matter what, even when you're having a horrible time, it's funny. Only to certain people is it funny when I'm having a horrible time. Only for a short set. That's right.
People still want leadership on stage, and if they don't feel like you have any fucking idea where you're going for an hour, it's a rough journey. 10 minutes is kind of fun.
You know what the name of the CD is going to be?
I have no fucking idea. It's called.
What else is in the news?
Ah, good. That's great.
What else is in the news? But I had something to tell you, and I forgot, and it'll just be something. Here's the thing that happens. Why do I want to ruin the show? Because I can't remember something. I don't want to ruin the show, but I am ruining the show. We're on people have been saying,
well, if you stop it down for you to remember it, then yes, you're ruining the show.
That's true. That is true. Do you have this at all? Mic hand? That it's like goes dead every time you hold a mic?
No, I have a mic stand.
I saw Gary Goldman, your replacement this weekend. And he's very excited about it.
Oh, good.
Because you're 52 and he's 53? What is the deal?
That's correct.
Okay. I said, I'm trying to find somebody who will basically be a traffic cop at my deathbed. Basically keep it moving, keep stuff going in. And I went for a long walk with him. I'm not going to brag, but I walked 7 miles, 5 with him and 2 on my own. And I said and he seemed to be like, I think Josh is going to make it into a bit about hilarious how I'm dying and how stupid I am. I think you'll be kinder.
Yeah. Well, he's a bigger fan.
That's what I said.
He's a bigger fan, for sure.
Just because he hasn't been that much in proximity to me, right?
I'm not saying, I'm just,
Josh, I have to wake up Susan. I'll be back in 1 second.
All
okay.
Right.
I woke her up and I'm going to make sure she's up. I've never done this before, but,
they call this the Jews alarm.
No, can we do it this way?
The Jews alarm. Chew your food.
I did. I do chew my food that time. But here was part of the problem. Was I was about to go and launch into a bit, but when am I not going to launch into a bit? But this was the bit. Jews alarm. That's very good. I was going to do this. Oh, so anyway, everything. I have to. I'm sorry. I got to take care of the dogs for a second. Oh, I almost ripped the thing out of the thing.
We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.
She was already up.
So she smacked the Jews alarm.
She made me a thing like she has a label maker, which I like it a lot. When she makes a nice little label.
She'd be like on your forehead.
No, but she was just
dipshit flap.
But so what was happening was that give me one word.
Label maker.
Right. So she made me just as a trying out the label maker. And just a big thing that says Jews. It's like, not huge, but just like whatever, small. So I put that on a little plastic container in my desk where I store like little knickknacks and stuff. So when I die, is that going to be, he was the biggest you can't believe what a big anti-Semite he was.
I think you should just keep Jews in there. Your David Ben-Gurion commemorative coin.
But then it's insulting. It's insulting. Jews.
Well, maybe start some other bins. Goys.
Maybe I should. What do you mean, another container?
Yes. We have the label maker.
I wish it was big enough to have business cards in it. A container with business cards, and then they're all Jews.
There you go.
Then people go, why did he separate into Jews?
To hand them over to the Nazis who came knocking on his door.
Are you calling me a capo again, like the guy on
I am calling
X?
you a capo, yes.
Were you Were you a little disoriented? Were you a little put upon when? You were flustered. You already answered. If I had a memory, imagine if you had a memory. The other guy had a memory. Wouldn't that be easier on you?
Well, it's not my problem. It's Gary Goldman's problem from now
on. Well, but here's the other thing: is that
I watched Gary Goldman's special, by the way, which I liked quite a bit.
Born on Third Base?
Yes.
Oh, good. I haven't seen it yet, and I love him. And I finished the book.
Good.
The book is so great, Misfit. And I think I'm really ready to write that book now, Josh.
Misfit by Gary Goldman?
No. You're saying like you have to try and bury your influence. So you have to go like Odd Man Out? No. Misshapen?
I can't wait to read the 15 chapters on how you could have been a big musician.
Chapter 7. My father says bad. What are you doing? I loved it when he would say, playing violin was like, are you killing a cat up there? Because that's fed into my own, I hate this fucking instrument.
Right.
But he wouldn't come up and go, sounds like you're killing a cat up there. Is this really the right instrument for you? And Andy, come over to my study.
Up and went, you're killing a cat.
But the discussion, which I'm sure happened in your house a lot, was, come in, son. Sit in my study. I've noticed that you play violin about 4 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make you the bad guy. Is it something you don't enjoy anymore? Oh. you had that Ward Cleaver existence. More that way, at least. If you thought, Hebrew school would be the exception.
My dad did very little proactive parenting. My mom was on the ball, but my dad was very passive as a parent.
So he was for you going to Hebrew school?
He was for not having a fight with my mother about us going to Hebrew school, I believe, is probably.
And what was her reason
he would throw us under a bus to avoid that, probably. No, I mean, it's just what the kid. It is what the group of people they grew up with and still lived among in Minneapolis did with their kids. So it was not. There wasn't a discussion about it. It was just like that's what you do with your Jewish kids in this group of people.
Well, it was the same thing from my area, but it was just reform. We were all, thank God, just all reformed. Yeah, the whole area was reformed.
We were all conservative, except there was one Reform temple, but the bulk of the Jewish community in Minneapolis was conservative. And so it was just like everyone pretty much fucking did it, you know.
So now here's what you got that I didn't get. Every Sunday, I got nothing. People who were part-time, because they're Reformed. They don't even like the religion. And now they're teaching us. And Purim was this, and we made a hat like that. You actually got actual biblical instruction.
I did get some, yeah.
But not by a parent.
Not by a parent. No, by actual paid teachers.
Yes.
Most of them Israeli assholes, but that's a different thing.
So, mine might have been better because I'm here on Sunday and go, this woman doesn't know what she's talking. I mean, she's not even interested, but maybe we're going to have challah and honey today. Maybe we'll have an apple today. There could be something that might happen.
And then Saturday mornings, up until your bar mitzvah for like 4 or 5 years or something, you go to Saturday morning too. And you actually learn the Torah reading part.
Not the reform. I went during the week. I studied during the week for my, I actually studied pretty hard for my thing, and it was very disappointed because this is interesting. Who's afraid to sing? Virginia Woolf. I wanted to sing my Haftorah portion because I could do it, but it was during the baby boom years of double bar mitzvahs. It was absolutely horrible. My bar mitzvah. It was a double bar mitzvah. I made $503.
Yeah.
Even you would say that's terrible.
That's not a good take.
Right. And it's a double bar mitzvah, and the other guy didn't want to sing. So I would be embarrassing him if I had sung.
This was $569.
$503 in $1969.
Yeah.
What would that be?
More.
Okay, but all I'm telling you is that nobody at that time said, well, if you look at it in these dollars, you're doing good. I didn't have rich friends, but I definitely had middle class friends. So I remember $1,000. I remember $1,500. Oh, maybe people lied. People lied.
I hit about $2,000.
Right.
But that was $1983.
And I think I got pens too. Did you get pens?
I got a few pens. Got a lot of
cross pens.
They did a lucite back then. A lot of lucite with your name engraved on it.
What would the lucite be?
You'd get like lucite bookends or a lucite clipboard or a lucite. It was very big for bar mitzvah presents.
Why was it big? Was that where lucite was located? Was it in Minneapolis?
No, my friend.
Very good. Very, very good. But so we would go I studied with Cantor Abelson, who I loved.
We had a Rabbi singer. Abelson was the main rabbi at our temple.
That's pretty interesting, but not interesting. Do you think, how crazy do you think it was that until age 30, when I would meet a Jew, I go, Temple Beth Shalom, is it the same Temple Beth Shalom?
In New York, you would do this.
In New York.
Assume
hopefully.
They went to the same synagogue.
Well, if they said Beth Shalom, me not knowing Temple Beth Shalom is Beth Peace, right? Beth Peace.
Beth Peace.
The first name.
House is Beth.
Oh, my parents couldn't tell me that. My parents.
It's not just Beth Peace.
House of Shalom, House of Peace, House of Peace.
Sure.
And then my mother got steamed when the temple wanted to make their own well, build their own well. Why are we building a well? And when everybody could have the same problem, I don't really know. My mother was coming from a good, but since she hated everything,
right.
It wasn't good.
It drove her out of the religion. In fact,
if it was up to my father, we never would have gone to religious school.
Yeah.
We never would have gone. I mean, the temple.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how my dad would have played it left to his own devices.
Right. It is conjecture, right? Because we're thinking that our dad would, in absence of our mother, my dad. But you see, I keep saying it's not. Your mother's not the same as my mother, so that's a whole different scene anyway.
Much different pathologies.
But I'm still angered by the idea that, like sheep, anybody would decide to send to their kids to any extra thing that wasn't. Oh, you're already in school. And now I'm older than you. Public school, and I'm a big believer in public schools. But public schools in the 50s, 60s were horror. They were worse.
The one thing you have to understand is that I wasn't like, this didn't make me an outcast in my situation.
I know.
You know
so you had friends and stuff,
at the
right?
end of the school, I remember at the end of the school, at elementary school, that we'd go to the gym and you'd line up for your bus number. And then when your bus came, they'd let you go to your thing. And there was an equal sized line for Tamatora bus that went from your school to the Tamatora, and that was true in all the suburbs around the city.
Oh my! But it's 9 hours, 10 hours by the time you get home, right?
Yeah, no, you get home like 6.
And his school, I think, was 9 to 3 or 8 to 3. I forget
whatever it was, but yeah.
Awful.
Tamatora ran from like 4 to 6 p.m. And there was also a version that ran from 6 to 8 p.m. when you got later, so you could go home first.
Right.
And then go from 6 to 8 p.m. twice a week
the night should be over. It's horrible enough that we were in a building.
I agree. It was a drag. It was a huge fucking, especially since I barely believed any of it.
Was it worse for your brother?
It seems like everything was a little worse for my brother.
Right.
I mean, he's doing great as an adult, but everything was harder for him growing up than me, for sure.
Well, the thing about the Reform religion in New York was that you would get bar mitzvahed, and then you would go on into a program called confirmation.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you didn't have anything.
No, we had that too. I just had bailed by that point.
So that's what happened is I bailed. My parents did not, to their credit, care one way or the other that when I after bar mitzvah. And I remember making what's that?
Yeah, that was pretty much the case with my parents too. It was all very mandatory until my bar mitzvah.
And then then they don't care because maybe they were be worried they have to do some more driving or something.
Maybe. Well, no, there was buses with the Tamatora, so. But it was I've told you the story of how I went for that first day of like the high school level one and got kicked out of both classes. And that was the end of my career. I was like, fuck.
That's by high school. Oh, then it would be just like that. It would just be torture. But just to show you that I even then could not quit anything, like the violin, and it's the same thing later on. I would apply the same rules to Jay Leno or somebody like that. I would say, I'm right about what I'm saying about Jay Leno. So that makes it, I'm like a hero of some kind.
All right.
Right? So, how could you be mad at me? I'm trying to save the world. So back then in school, I found something atrocious about the follow-up education. And I'm not standing for this.
Yeah.
And I quit for that. So even then, even though nobody probably would have cared, I still had to come up with a reason.
There's always a legend of Andy Kindler.
and then you cut to me in my 20s telling the guy I delivered newspapers for that I had a play in New York, a theater play in New York, and I had to move back there because he was grooming me to be his prime guy in the newspaper delivery business.
And so you lied about an acting role in New York?
Yes. Yes. And he even told everybody else. His name was Jack Selby, I think. He said, Andy's doing a very excited.
We'll be the first ones there opening night, buddy boy.
I really think when you get past the humorous part of it, it's very sad to me that I was that scared. That's too much fear.
Fear is the big poison of human life, pretty much.
Yeah, it is. It really is. My thing about with Gary Goldman was I was always under the impression, he's had a great life. He's taller. He can, reach down and throw people around. But no, the tall are not necessarily treated that much better in grade school.
No,
and his parent
anything that others you will be targeted.
Right. And I told you, of course, the horrible thing. He was left. His father decided to leave him back. Held him back one grade.
Yeah.
After first grade. So throughout the book, he goes, when I was in first, I'm surprised that you could survive
so
that.
So he may well have graduated a year after me then.
That's right.
Because I skipped a grade. So.
Yes. I forgot if he knows you. Have you worked on stuff or?
No, well, he had a pilot thing that he was discussing people to work with on. And so we had a very long discussion. And then he picked someone else, which is fine. But we had a very nice discussion and decided that we could definitely be friends. So.
Yes. He is a very, very sweet man. Very, very sweet man. And so the other thing is he offered to pay for the job he said he would contribute to snacks at the old home, like arrange entertainment from me at the old people's home.
I'm happy to hand it over. I really am.
I would do it with Gruber, I think would be, but he's not coming down. Gruber's not coming down here to move and entertain me in the home.
How much younger than you do you think Gruber is?
I think Gruber is absolutely younger than me.
But
not that much.
Not much, but yeah, a little bit. I'm going to see him this week, I think.
He's coming to town?
Yeah, he's here, yeah.
Oh, I know that. I wonder, because my brother was very, very upset and I think rightly so, now that I've sorted everything out, that my parents never had friends. And, he said they never, and they kind of didn't. They would, it's like we didn't have a social thing. And I really wonder if you growing up in a more social family, it made you keep in touch with people better, or maybe you're just a better person.
No, it's certainly not the latter. I'm not, let's take that off the table right away. No, but I definitely think that my parents' friendships were a vital part of their life.
Right.
There was probably like a half dozen couples with whom they were like extremely close, or were going trips with, or, and went back to high school with a lot of them, or college. Wow. But like, both like full couple friendships. So they went out to dinner a lot. And they talked my mom especially talked on the phone a lot. My dad had a fairly regular poker game. It was like, they were very social. They were way more social people than I turned out to be. But the way that I am social is through maintaining my individual friendships, because that's where I feel comfortable socially,
Right.
Like small groups, little, lunches. I love, all that I'm very happy in.
I think that's fantastic, because ultimately the joy is not usually, people at the end of their life said, if I hadn't had huge parties, I wouldn't have gotten close to people. You know what I mean? Usually it's not at the big events that right. Unless the Hollywood parties.
And
but
so
you were
I really do feel it is my family of friends,
Yeah. It's really great. It's really, really great. But of course, if I say, but here's the thing about me. If I go, here's the thing that's annoying. If I wish I could be like Josh, instead of saying, and I think I am saying this, I am obviously, as I close in on death, more interested in forming friendships. Like, we have friends, we have like a couple of, like, we have maybe 3 or 4 couples of friends that we see, but not like, but we're both like a little bit isolated.
Yeah.
We're both, and we want to fix that, especially with the pandemic closing in again.
Right. Locks them down. But it sounds like you're putting in some Goldman time, it sounds like.
Oh, Goldman is somebody who I've, you know how you feel you may work with somebody on a podcast, but then someone comes along and you feel this kismet.
Yeah, it's called it's called a man crush, Andy.
No, this is actually, I'm very attracted to him. Is that wrong?
No.
Oh, I'm wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm wrong. Oh, I'm wrong because we're both Jews and we're celebrating our culture together. That makes me the bad guy. I am exiting out of the homosexual bits.
That's good.
What is this, an Adam Sandler movie?
You mean you're pulling out?
Let me tell you something. If you were on The Real Housewives and you said you were pulling out or anything, they would make a meal out of it for 4 or 5 minutes.
Yes.
Is the
single entendres of Beverly Hills.
It's the single entendres of Beverly. Has the cheesecake, is it getting harder? My penis is, and that was the wrong example.
That's a good single entendre right there.
My penis is harder. Oh man, this was quite a. I was very exhausted from this. I just drove down from my parents. I'm very exhausted. Were you fucking in the car? See, that's how it gets out of control. They're really looking for it. I have funny ideas and notions.
And true. Work the notions, I say.
That's a good name for notions. I love stores that are named in a way that they could be anything. Bed, Bath, and Beyond is one thing, but it could be trinkets, flowers, antiques.
Notions, you mean?
Notions, antiques. Antiques was Antiques was having a closeout sale. They're still open, I noticed. Still open. Have you been to Antiques?
I have years ago. I did go to Antiques, which is a little antique mall for those of you who don't live within a block of us.
And by the way, I'm talking about an area that's further away from our house, so you can't come looking for me there.
But I will say that the lighting store that was near us for years and years, going out of business for years and years and years and years, went out of business.
You know, it is. It did go out of business.
Yes.
Do you know why I didn't like shopping in there? The lighting was so garish.
Uh-huh.
Because they sell lighting. Do you get it at all?
You just kept walking around going, I just had an idea. And no one got it. I thought I was doing a Jess Bulbs bit, like Letterman. A what?
Yeah. A Jess Bulbs. Was it? Remember that his famous bit about Jess Bulbs or Jess Flowers?
Right.
But I don't know why I said bulbs.
I didn't.
Because there was one with just light bulbs.
There was just shades and just bulbs. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, someone I heard last night, and you tell me this. So I heard someone say it's shade, and then the other person said, "Good shade or bad shade." It was Andy Cohen's "Watch What Happens Live."
Yeah.
And this is what I thought when people were first saying shade. Right. I thought shade was a positive thing. You're providing protection.
No. And
throwing
shade on someone is a negative.
So then this woman was just wrong. So you're talking about good shade or bad shade?
There might be some sort of good shade I don't know about, but the general term is if you're throwing shade on someone, it's not a positive thing.
Right, and then it also goes.
If you're giving them their flowers, that's a different thing.
That's different.
That's different. That's good.
It's very good. Now, I really want to recommend, if I recommended it already to you, I did Fargo.
Fargo, the show?
Yes.
Which season?
I started with season 1.
Yeah.
And I'm now on season 1 was unbelievably great. Billy Bob Thornton is maybe, I know that John Hamm's the current villain, but Billy Bob Thornton is like the greatest villain when he does something like aces to these couple, like when he's pretending. Oh my God. He comes, I'm not saying he comes by honestly, but he plays it very well.
I coincidentally just watched the movie Fargo with Allison for the first time in many years the other day.
And it still holds up great, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know?
It's, I forgot how many locations were like right near my parents' house too. But
you knew that at the time though, right?
I knew it at the time, yeah.
And I was going to tell you that I got fooled by the beginning of the TV show because they do homages to the Coens all the time.
Yeah.
So they go, this is a true story. We've changed the names of the victims to protect them, but to protect the truth or something, we're showing this is a totally true story.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a true story the first year, but it's not a true story.
Yeah.
And neither was the original Fargo.
I don't know.
Even though there was a wood chipper guy, but they took. So part of me is like, this is wrong. It's like a biopic, but it's not a biopic because you don't know who these people are. So it's not like who's the guy who played Buddy Holly?
Gary Busey?
Yeah. It's not like, does that really what Buddy Holly did? You know that people have done horribly. Here's the other thing I'm going to say. They are the funniest people portraying, not
Wow.
the
Finish
Coen
a fucking sentence. Finish one sentence.
Okay. The Coen brothers are not, when they show death, they can make it they do black comedy pretty good.
Yes, they do.
Very good.
Yeah.
Maybe the best. That's what these guys do very, very well, where you're laughing hilariously and 3 people just got shot. You're laughing because you have now disconnected and you know that there's joke. You know you are meant to laugh at this. Not totally.
Right.
But that's a hard thing to pull off, black comedy.
It is.
I would think.
Sure.
Don't start into your black comic routine, okay?
I mean, ask Cat Williams how hard it is to pull off black comedy.
Do you know how many people over the last week have said to me, my friend we had dinner with a couple, and they go, Cat Williams, right? Everyone has seen this.
I know.
Everyone is talking about this.
Isn't it amazing?
When you're a storyteller as good as Cat Stevens and you can really
Cat
weave
Stevens
things.
Again, really?
When you're like a double, his name was also spelled Katt.
No, it wasn't.
But when you spin these stories, he spins them so that he doesn't say, "I'll hedge my bets on it." He goes, "Every script that Kevin Hart eventually did was me without a dress."
Yes.
Yes. And he almost does a thing like look it up. Almost he does a little bit. Everyone knows this.
All right.
Everyone knows that.
Yes. Well, these are all Trump tactics too, but.
And then he says earthquake. I love it. He goes through different points, and I guess it's very powerful alcohol that we watched him consume on that thing with Shannon Sharp. But he starts to say nobody can act. They're all terrible, horrible. Nobody can act. And the earthquake, horribly failed actor. But then later on they go, Earthquake is very, very funny.
Yeah.
And he did have a 20-minute special. He couldn't transfer to act. I mean, all of a sudden he gets into this serious kind of a thing where he's, which obviously he likes Earthquake. I don't really know. I should know Earthquake by now, but I don't know Earthquake.
Yeah. There's a lot of comics we don't know.
Right. But I thought but then when he's being generous, you go, oh, that's nice. But then don't be fooled that he's not going to go back into some kind of, crazy. I actually wrote several versions of the dictionary.
He has sort of his primary targets, and then there's a lot who get the collateral damage spray.
Yes. Okay. Now he seems okay. It doesn't seem like he hates like him and Faison. He hates Faison. He seems to like.
Seems to have no respect for Faison,
yeah. Right? Boy, that guy. I met that guy on a plane. He seems like a very sweet guy, and I said, and the whole trip I was going, don't you hate the guy you work with, the Scrubs guy? Isn't he? And then the Ricky Smiley, who I know.
Donald Faison. Faison Love is who he hates.
Oh, who's Faison Love?
It's not Donald Faison. It's Faison.
Oh, it's not Donald Faison at all.
No.
Oh, I thought it was. Who's Faison Love?
A stand-up.
Oh, do I know him?
Well, no. Clearly, you do not know him. Why would you ask that at this point?
Well, because here's the thing. I mean, here's the absolute truth. If I'm going to say, I do believe, I don't know if I should, of course I should say this. I'm only worried about it because it's nothing wrong with it. But when I first started comedy and I would see a lot of hack acts, what I thought were hack acts, I would have a very white privilegey idea about this. Like I didn't see, forget about whether people were doing acts that was, you know, on let's say, what was that show that was what was that show that was like the famous show,
Def
Black
Comedy
show?
Jam?
Yeah, Def Comedy Jam. I didn't like a lot of Def Comedy, but I also never really gave it a chance. But I also never was conscious of the fact of white privilege.
Right.
So it was like I would respond like I used to do a bit about how like hack different people and hack black acts would go, beat your kids, beat them. Are you beating your kids? Beat them. So there were certain hack things, and I think all of these legitimate hack things I saw were legitimate. They would be hacks regardless of the color. But I didn't understand that if your whole your race wasn't allowed to play clubs, and you developed this whole other circuit, and then you would be as uncomfortable playing for white crowds, except he likes playing for white crowds. But just the idea that you'd be going,
in my experience, a black comic can do much better in front of an all-white crowd than a white comic can do in front of an all-black crowd.
Right, but that's because but that should be true. It should be true that the group that has been enslaved and all this, they are the underdog. They are always the underdog.
Well, and I think it's more simply than that, I think, is...
He's going to put me down again.
It's just that everyone is exposed to white culture.
That's exactly right. Right.
But not everybody is exposed to black culture.
Right. And so when I look back at myself in high school, and I would say things like, I don't know why, I would expect, like, if I met a black person one-on-one, and if they weren't like, hello, how are you? I would have hurt feelings because I was hurt about everything at that time period. I thought everyone hated me, or I had terrible self-esteem.
Right.
So, it's like, it just is so interesting to me to live long enough to see how you were, to actually understand how you were before you were more focused on economic discrepancies and poor people. And, but I mean, as a political person, I always would be arguing against the SATs and against the, just the way all the tests were all fucking rigged. But as a regular person, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it as much. I didn't feel it as much as I do now, or understand it as much as I have in the last 20 years.
Yeah, well, but that's also because as we age, we also disconnect from what's really happening in culture in general, too. Do
you think we're doing, I guess we are, there's no way to avoid that?
I don't think there is a way to avoid that unless you can make an effort.
Yeah, but we're not walking around going, "Oh my, what's the music?" We're not like our parents, are we?
I don't think we are.
Or your parents weren't like your parents. Your dad liked maybe rock and roll.
Well, they weren't dismissive of it. They just weren't. They didn't embrace it that much. Yeah. My dad was a jazz dude. That was what he liked.
Right.
But it's just you grow out of it. You get a life where when you're young, pop culture is everything. It's how you identify yourself. It's how you label yourself. It's how you associate with yourself with others, is through common pop culture loves.
Right. Right.
And then you start sorting yourself out in different ways as you grow.
Yes.
So it's not as important. But
right.
But no, I think the difference is that I'm not at all dismissive of hip hop culture, Right. And there's plenty of stuff there that if I pay attention to it, I can love.
Right.
But, but the truth is I don't have that much room to keep consuming new things and new things and new things in order to be on, and I can, and it's folly for me to think, even if I knew it, I could then relate to Gen Z people,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, actually, sorry for cutting you off, but exactly right is what you're saying. It's just so true.
I can know the references, but me deploying them still makes me look like an ass.
Yeah, but I will never. I'm always glad about how derisive I was towards the comics who put down rap. Or or used it as a hack thing. Right. I'm a Jewish guy, and I'm here to say oy vey. Right. Because comics could get huge laughs from making fun of Boy George being like Girl George, like Tom Kenny used to make fun of Boston comics. Or my favorite thing that he did this one night where he did an impression of a Boston comic at Lager for 20 minutes, where he was like, "E.T. phone home, E.T. flush. E.T. flush." In other words, they rejected the movie because E.T. looks like a piece of shit. That E.T. E.T. flush. Like, so it's just like, I think where comedy's better than that now. Who knows? But it's got to be better than that time period.
Yeah, again, I just think that hack has changed.
It's harder to identify hack.
It's harder to identify hack unless you're watching a lot of it, but hack now is much more it's not so much pop culture based, it's personal based hack,
Yeah.
How many people are using some piece of sexual deviancy as a shock punchline. It's like confession for punchlines has almost become hack in many ways.
Right.
Depending how you do it,
give me an example of that.
I can't.
Okay.
I was doing the best I can, but that's,
I know, but I wasn't sure of my food. Here's the thing. Joe Coy is an old school hack, I think.
I think so
he's
too,
like an old school hack.
Yeah.
And so he's that style.
In our time, he would have been a college act.
Right. So it's still, but that's just the general hackiness of show business and entertainment. There's always going to be a hacky quality to it. Not the whole thing, but there's always going to be.
Well, and it just depends what what are we defining hack as? Are we talking it as overly commonplace or overly crowd pleasing?
I think it's both. I think it's I think it's both. I mean, I think the more you talk about it, the more it becomes just a comparison thing, which really isn't true. It's just these people developed ways of killing that were just tricks.
Well, and I think, it comes down to what I was talking about last week about how so many comics can sell tickets now. So there are so many comics who are actually playing to their crowd.
Yes.
As opposed to what we're still stuck with, which is paying playing to whoever shows up. You have more fans than me, but that's part of what doesn't, if I could go out and play to a crowd that was coming to see me, I would probably enjoy stand-up and be excited by it a lot more now. But the fact that I feel like whatever I do, has to please this cross-section of the public.
Yeah.
Most of which I'm not in tune with anymore just because of my own atrophy, it doesn't have an appeal to me. There's literally people in society I don't care to entertain anymore.
Exactly. No, I get it exactly.
But I guess the backside of what I was saying though is that it can also get pretty fucking easy if you're playing to your own crowd all the time too. That's
for sure. That's why I think my instincts were at the Ice House. You know what? I always say that I could have been hackier, but I don't believe I could have been. I don't believe that I could have learned to the same degree that people would get the Ice House rocking. I wasn't even as good at it or would know the exact formula for the best hack thing. Because what they wanted to go, they're rolling along and they're going, and it's like you have to have laughs for the whole 45 minutes.
Yeah, the Ice House is a bad example because it's so fucking easy. Come on. But
I didn't do well there though. I did well, but I went against the grain. Like they weren't liking me that much because
leadership.
you? I didn't sleep all night. Didn't you know that?
I didn't know that, but I'm seeing it. You have a very disheveled kind of thing about you.
I'm disheveled.
You're a little Marty Allen this morning.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
So may I just say, hello there.
Hello there. Where are you now? I'm on the moon. Where are you? I am bent over a ladder. Have you met the man in the moon? Oh, now you tell me. I don't even get that one.
I don't either.
Because I think, did you meet the woman of, I went out with the woman of the moon. It's the man of the moon. Now you tell me?
I can't go beyond hello there with Alan and Rossi.
Okay, well, it's probably 69, right after the moon landing.
You'd think. That's what, yeah. Although the whole 60s were rife for spaceman comedy. Bill Dana had Jose Jimenez.
Wait, I thought the Right Stuff guys were always Scott Glenn.
That was the whole 60s. Alan Shepard, played by Scott Glenn.
Are you sure it's not the other way around? Gus Grissom, played by
Fred Ward.
No, Fred Ward, played by Gruss Grissom. You know how many times I'm sorry, something. It's okay. I switched the computer around. Like my feet are touching right there.
Please, more muttering. Mutter more.
Do you know how many times I cried as a small child because I probably didn't have an appropriate reaction to any death, or any death except for the big death that happened by then. JFK took the JFK ended my life until Lenin ended my life, but I'm a member of the generation who can't get it out of their mind. You have no image of that.
Has anyone here seen either of my old friends, John? I have obviously no JFK memory. I do have a John Lennon's death memory, of course.
Oh man, say it ain't so. And you might have a slight Robert Kennedy. I have Robert Kennedy was more disturbing because it was right after Martin Luther King.
Still well before my birth, Robert Kennedy.
What? I don't understand how this birth thing works. So you're not born like me.
No, I'm not born like you in many ways.
Don't give me that smile like you're a
That's
better
a
person.
smirk.
No, stop it,
Sorry.
Snooky.
You know what I call that? I call that there but for the grace of God go I, number 4. That look.
Well, I have good news to report to the group. I got my numbers. I have my numbers. Are
these health numbers, financial?
Health numbers,
right.
yes, okay. Health numbers. The financial numbers will always disturb people because I have very little to do with it. You get that joke, right?
Sure.
I have very little to do with it. I am officially 155 pounds.
Yeah.
I was 160.
Okay.
I lost 5
You lost 5 pounds. I get it, yes.
Don't you understand what that means to a frame like mine? And my A1C is from 6.6 to 6.4. My resting glucose, like my fasting glucose, 106. That's right in the normal range.
Well, aren't you a little pill with a big story to tell?
Do you know how many times I stare at that Jardines commercial and I just go, and I go, I don't even understand. Are they celebrating the musical? Are they filming that musical?
No, they're filming a commercial. They're quite obviously filming a commercial. Like she goes, she goes over to the clients. She's there with the clients for a little bit. Then she goes back to wardrobe and hair and makeup.
Who are the clients? The drug
Jardines people, yeah.
You don't say this. I tried to get work as a lot of voiceover work as the may cause this, may cause that, have happened.
Right, but you kept having panic attacks halfway through the list.
That's the lawyer weasel talk, Lawyer weasel talk. Have happened. As a result of the drug. No, they have happened.
Uh-huh.
Just, you can't get one back on me, Josh.
No.
Or something like that.
On.
Over. You can't get over on me.
Right. You can quite easily get over you, however.
Oh, that's a short joke.
It is.
I chewed it and figured it out.
That's good.
I saw a good documentary this morning because I couldn't sleep.
Oh.
It was about Gary Mule Deer. Gary Mule Deer. Very good. You saw it too?
No, I haven't. I saw that it existed. Where was it, on Prime? Where was it?
It's on Prime, yeah. It's really good. It's very good, and it's an interesting story, and he's very funny. I mean, he's got some of the most classic lines, like, he's nice to know I can go back anywhere in this country as long as I'm willing to take less money every year.
All right.
So he had a lot of classics, and he's very funny. He's very funny. He had, like many people of his generation, he was addicted. He was, everyone was coked up from that time period.
Sure.
Everyone was coked up.
Some people quit. Some people
quit.
Yeah.
He had like a 20-year habit or so. But he's doing good. He's doing very well. It was just interesting because they were just talking about how.
By the way, it wasn't the coke. That wasn't the problem with his career.
What's that?
I'm just saying the coke wasn't the thing that stunted his
I
career.
don't think you're right about this. I think he was great.
I think he was funny,
great.
but I don't think he.
Have you seen a lot of him?
I've seen a fair amount over the years now. Yeah.
Oh,
I think he was. I think he was a very entertaining act.
I know what you're saying because he does like what might be old jokes. A lot.
I mean, I think he was what we would have called a college act back in the.
Well, here's the thing: you're talking about what actually. Here's where I think that it's not true because a college act would have assumed that someone would have done a whole bunch of that and knew how to do that. When he was doing it, it wasn't even popular what he was doing. His props weren't like, it's a prop act. He was just a weird guy who used props. So
I'm not saying I'm not.
So that's not a college act.
No, it is, and I mean that's how he was making money in the 70s and 80s.
Well, he was on cruises too. Yeah. He was on cruises too. But
I'm just saying it's the kind of act where you throw anything out there that's going to get a laugh. I'm not saying he's not funny, and I'm not saying the things he threw out there weren't funny. I'm saying there's not a lot of point of view going on. There's not, there's just a sort of fire hose of jokes of all flavors.
I don't know. I think you'll see it. You'll change your mind. You'll send me some flowers.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a whole new relationship about him.
I'll probably get hung up on the quality of the filmmaking and miss the whole point.
Well, you might not enjoy that Carrot Top is talking about him.
Well, I think he's definitely part of the lineage.
He's part of the lineage, but oh my God. He also enjoyed country music. All right, everybody. How's everybody doing? Let's shake that out. Let's shake the mule deer cobwebs out. Me defending him.
Move on from Andy Kindler, Gary Mule Deer apologist.
Well, he's friends with Letterman, and I want to be friends with Letterman. I mean, like hanging out with him. I bet he could be caustic sometimes when you hang out with him.
He seems very jovial in his latest
I love him.
version.
I know he's got to be jovial now. I mean, he's just. Let me tell you something about Dave that most people don't know. I talked to him once during the show. He said, "Come over here, Andy." I said, "Okay, let's go over here." So we smoked a couple of cigars together, and he said, "Andy, I just can't stand this business." I said, "I got you, buddy boy." Okay, is it over what I'm doing?
I don't know. Depends.
I hope so.
Depends if you
hope so.
Depends if. Damn.
If you add more.
Most people would have gone to the corner with the cigars having something to get out of the corner with.
Oh, right. But not me, because I'm not so much a comic. I'm not such a funny ha-ha. I'm not somebody who you go see.
You're the rare comics comic.
Exactly. Mr. Andy Kindler went out last night.
Yeah.
To a club.
Yeah.
Permanent Records Outlet.
Uh-huh. Did you do a
set at
a club?
No, I just went down there to check. What's this guy's problem? I just went down there to check out the room. No, I'm starting my album in April tour.
Yeah. How'd it go?
So I worked on some. It was good. I couldn't even believe that it was good. Mostly because I felt very comfortable, which doesn't make it special.
Right.
But I'm not going to worry about it. I think I'm taking your opinion anyway, and I'm not going to worry about the special. I saw Dimitri Martin there.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Right.
No, he had fun. He had some funny jokes. Someone came up to him and said, because everybody said he was like Hedberg, right? He goes, he was pretty funny. This is off stage.
Yeah.
He goes, I was stealing from Stephen. I thought I was doing Stephen Wright, is what he said. I mean, he was being honest. I mean, it's like a lot of people are influenced by people for a while until they find their own.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about that. Like, it's really, really hard to do one-liners unless you really have like a compelling personality behind it, which was like, well, I'm not going to get into this. Stephen Wright, you don't do one-liners, and I don't really do one-liners like a one-liner comedian.
No.
Right?
No. I mean, you actually do. I mean, there are some of your bits which are just purely one-liners. Not on my watch as a one-liner. I mean, it's your own. It's your own meta flavor kind of one-liner.
Right, and I noticed that with Dimitri last night. He said, "I'm bisexual curious" or something like that. It was some things like lines that I was like, I know I come up with that kind of thing. That wordplay thing.
Bisexual curious is what the word. Bi-curious is what.
So, well, I'm obviously not saying what his joke was.
Right.
I'm
bi-furious.
Bisexual, bi-curious sexual. I don't know. But the point was that I realized, no, I don't know what I'm saying. You're right. I actually do one-liners, and I actually, but it's almost like Zach, when Zach played I'm just thinking about the fact that when Zach played the piano, it worked for him to do the one line, and even Mitch Hedberg.
No,
had
but
the boom,
I
boom,
think,
boom.
ultimately your jokes are not to be dismissive of your comedy, but they're sort of besides the point in a way, because your comedy is what's happening between the jokes, generally. When you're really in your thing and you're just like channeling whatever's in your head out loud.
Yes.
The jokes are.
The other stuff is genius too, but
it's not.
as.
I'm not saying it's less or.
It's bad. You're just saying it's.
The opposite.
No.
The very opposite.
I took it the wrong way for a second.
This is encouragement. This is
okay.
This is why your comedy works, in my opinion.
Yes.
Is that, I don't think that the jokes themselves are the thing. I agree. Watching you go through the experience of telling the jokes is the thing, And
I thank you for that assessment, because even like last night, I was like, I could do the album tomorrow because I was in that mode of really commenting on everything so comfortable.
Right.
But that's an illusion. You still have to have the material.
An illusion, yeah. Otherwise you're just relying on luck.
Yes, that's true, and it's done so well from. So that was so.
But
anyway,
I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate. What am I? Thanks, man. Hey, man.
Because you were taken aback by my untainted supportiveness.
That was very funny. I was telling people our exchange. I told my therapist our exchange over the falsetto thing. I thought that was really a cool exchange that we had.
Yeah.
Because first of all, so I sent Josh like a little snippet of me trying to go, I'm walking in the rain, tears are falling and I feel the pain, wishing you were here with me to end this misery, and I wonder, why, I can't do it. I sent him the snippet with me not hitting the high note. He goes, you have any tips? For me, he goes, and Josh says, why don't you have the backup singers do it? Right? So that's the typical thing we do. And then I say, well, Del Shannon did it. And then Josh says, yeah, but Del Shannon chose his own key. So I say to Josh, sadly,
you're saying all my lines with a sneer, though.
No, it's funny. Sadly, I'm doing it in his key. Right? And then, oh, come on. Now you're making me feel like I'm not representing your interest.
No, you're just like making me sound like,
no, it was funny. It was funny. But the thing that was interesting about it was an interesting insight for myself. Because, okay, here it is. That's the sad part. I'm singing it to the record. It is his key. So then Josh sends me back my snippet fixed. Wishing you were here with me to end this misery, and I wonder.
Wonder.
And so I write cruel, but great. And he said, so you say I'm a falsetto friend. But the thing is, I said,
friend, like false friend kind of thing.
I didn't take it that way. I thought you were taking it like I'm a friend of falsetto.
No, I was just doing wordplay. Yeah,
it's bad on my part. But I said that's what I'm trying to do. It feels like the top of my throat. The sound is at the top of my throat, but I never tried this before. Maybe I'll get better. And you go, it should resonate in your head rather than your chest. Now that's information that is very helpful to me. And I know that please don't make fun of it like you would make fun of the Christmas incident. Uh-huh. But if you just thought when you were a kid that you couldn't sing, then you never would even think about, wouldn't know, like that was great information for me. But if I think that I can't sing, I'm not going to get any information.
But you still reacted defensively to that information. I was trying to give you an insight. You were like, oh, that's what I meant by the back of my throat. See, I did you the latter.
No. That's not. It sounds like there's no reason why you shouldn't think that's what it was. But I was trying to tell you. I was actually saying it sounds like it's in my head, but is that where the sound is? Where the ear canals are? I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's just where my head. When you're singing falsetto, that's where the resonance is happening.
Yes, it does sound like I'm being argued.
It's often referred to as chest voice or head voice. You know.
Right. Well, that's very good information to me because all I know is, and I won't go along with this because it's who needs it. All I know is that when you have that I learned several things about myself through this process is that if you can't think you do something, then you assume you can't do anything. Like, oh, you're not breathing. Like people who are obnoxious about voices go, oh, she's a throat singer. He's a throat singer. You know, and they tell you that Dylan's a throat singer and everything. Right. But the truth is that I do get my breath all the way down. I do feel my breath filling up all the way down here. So it's like I don't think I've ever had a problem. I mean, I want to take voice class just to see if is there a better way of getting the voice out. But it wasn't that I couldn't technically sing. It was just I thought I couldn't sing, and it would sound horrible, you know. Yeah. So the fact that what I learned yesterday was, if you live your whole life saying you stink, and you really are saying, mostly, I think the problem with most people are they think they're defective. I'm defective and I stink. Then I would never even be able to make any kind of objective analysis of myself. I made an objective analysis of myself that's going to sound a little bit braggy, but it's just true. I have an excellent ear. I don't have perfect pitch. I've only known one or two people who has perfect pitch. But I know when I'm off tune.
Yeah.
That means you can fix it.
Yes, I agree.
And with the other, my whole life I was like, you just sound terrible. I mean, this is not what people are saying. It's what I would take from whatever the original idea was that I couldn't do things.
Right.
So it just was like, when you're really not, in other words, you're taking out the question, could I be a backup singer in the Miracles? Could I do this? If you take it past the fantasy part or thinking about how good you are compared by, that's not important. It really isn't important in terms of what you want to do, what I want to do, which is to sing.
Right.
Right.
And the cap you need to take off yourself, which you seem to apply to any creative endeavor, is if I cannot be a superstar at this, usually straight out of the gate, it's not worth doing on some level.
I wonder if that's what I
mean, you've told me that. I mean, you talk about that with your,
right.
When you're doing watercolor, when if I can't be, you aspire to be the best in the world at everything you're doing, and which becomes a sort of self-defeating.
It can, but here's what it is. It's more like, there's definitely a self-defeating side to it. But the idea of when I paint my masterpiece, or this next one could be a masterpiece, it actually is about the emotion you bring to the painting more than how good it is afterwards. Because if you're painting and going, this is okay, but I'm not Picasso, this is okay, that's right. Just, it's irrelevant. It's like when they go, this little kid did a great painting.
Right, but you couldn't, it sounds like you can get past that with painting, but you couldn't with music.
I think I really love my painting.
Yeah.
Like I think I love it. I enjoy it. There's nothing that's holding me back, except I get bored by the same stuff that I was doing after a while.
Yeah.
But but I was the same way with this, because when I started watercoloring, my aunt Anne Roberta said, "Oh, well, you have to go to a university now and study it." And, she was like, "It's in my family. It's in my family, or it's in everyone's family."
It's in everyone's family. Like I told you,
Yeah.
my mom, the thought of me becoming a writer without a college degree was
So it's
crazy talk.
It's almost a Jewish thing in a way.
I think the Jewish part is that education is baked into everything.
Yes, education is great. Well, I was thinking a lot about what you were saying a few weeks ago, which I never really. I mean, I knew it, but you said it in a way that was like, the history of the Jewish people in America is about assimilation.
Yeah.
And you can see how self-hating comes from assimilation, because whoa. And then you can see how, like me, I was scared to look like Horshack because, I'm a Jew. I got a big Jew nose.
Right.
So a lot of that is built in, and like I told you before.
Unfortunately, it's a fear-based tactic,
Yes. Yeah.
So anything that is, has fear at its foundation is going to have some toxicity to it,
Exactly. I'm reading a graphic novel. It's called Weinstein. It's really great. I like graphic novels. I don't know if you like them as much. There it is. And I'm not going to lie to you. I actually cried at one point. I cried in front of Susan, just a little whimpering, because Einstein was he played the violin from 6 to 13, and then his father's, and he goes, "I don't want to play." He goes, why don't you want to play? He goes, "I have no desire to play scales or march around or music, or it's useless. Why should I learn how to play scales that are boring, that I don't care about?" And so my point is, I'm not Einstein, right? But I could have had a parent who said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I mean, I really did kind of cry over just whoever's kid would go from the 4th grade through high school, not stopping what he knew he hated and just using it to reinforce his own negative opinions of himself.
Did you ever try to take a stand and go?
No, that's the sad part.
Did they know you didn't like it?
Maybe my sister knew.
Yeah.
Maybe my brother knew. But I never was able to. I would be afraid. I mean, I don't understand really. The thing is, this really was the truth of my childhood, that there was nobody when the chips were down that I could really go to, whether it was to go to the United Nations and they left, there was none of that, none of it.
Yeah.
With my dad, there was, because he thought I was cute and he played with me and he was funny and all that kind of stuff. But when you don't know what to do and you're completely lost and you're too young to have to know what to do, and you're not given any signs except you better not, like that my violin was cracked for 7 months before I said, "It looks cracked." And then they weren't, the only reason why it was okay was they didn't get upset.
So you just, it was just really like a fear of drama in general that you had. It seems like,
yeah. But I just think that's so abnormal to almost most people's lives. That's not abnormal. I don't want to say it like that.
Well, I mean, it's specific to your life, but I'm sure it's the thing that's universal, I think, for bad childhoods that you have is that lack of baseline security.
That's exactly it. That's why I felt. That's why I screamed when I was 3 feet away from my 8-year-old friend, and then when he found me, I lied and said someone was trying to beat me up because I couldn't admit that I had panicked. But that is it.
Yeah, I mean, when your parents catastrophize everything, everything's a fucking catastrophe.
But this thing about Einstein was great because then it says, at age 14, he fell in love with Mozart's sonatas, and this is a description in the book, and the light touch of the sonatas suited him. He played very intensely for like 5 or 6 more years, and I guess he sounded great on Mozart. So, but you understand, like, he's not saying, "Gee, I wonder if I can do this." He's going, "I wonder. I don't care about doing this, or I do care about doing this."
Well, it was a joyless exercise until he found some reason to find some joy in it. But, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel the same way about music, because that's why I'm not a good musician. You know, I'm very musical, but I'm not a good musician because I don't have the discipline to learn the instrument, and it doesn't. And like any good, you know, there has to be some joy in just having the instrument in your lap, on your chin, whatever it is. There has to be that baseline thing. I don't know any good musician who didn't just make it their love personally, you know, who wouldn't rather be noodling on their guitar than most things, you know.
Right. And I would say that I'm proud of myself because I probably put in, when I broke my arm, I put hours and hours and hours a day into learning the guitar with joy.
Yeah.
And my sister would show me things. So I feel like I put those hours to be a good acoustic, to be a good, like, you know, rhythm player. But when I try to do it after college with the, I have to be a studio musician or I'm a failure. Oh my God.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, is that if I'm not the greatest, I'm shit. You know?
But I did say to you, which I think was true. You said, this is the best part of the thing. I said, I misread this. I did actually get a couple of notes back when I quit SIGs. I thought you said, I did actually get a couple of gigs back when I quit SIGs.
No, I said I got a couple of notes back at the top of my range
at the top
when
of your
I
thing.
quit cigarettes.
And I said, I am not surprised you got the pipes. And then you said the pipes of a parrot. And I said, I don't think so. It's a skill you honed and perfected. Then you said, that's very nice of you. And then we made love.
That's right.
Why do I cheapen everything?
And in the morning I was gone.
Wait, I'm so angry about that Maggie song. Oh, the morning sun really shows how old you are.
But the thing you missed is what I also said in the middle, which is I have no real advice on how to sing. I only know how to do what I can do because I tried it and it came out. You know what I mean? It's like I never had any training nor technique. So I can only say, like, I know it's supposed to resonate. When I do it, it resonates in my head is kind of what I was, you know.
But that's great feedback from me. And do you also realize that you are a great singer? There's just nothing you can say about it. You're a great singer.
Well, I'm booking you. I don't think that's true. I think I have a versatile and controllable voice, but I don't think I'm a great singer.
Well, here's the thing. I think you love impressions so much and love getting into styles that you can sing in the style of anybody. Right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you're singing it, baby. You got the pipes. If you came to my lessons,
I think my resistance is really sincerity when it comes to music.
I think it's right.
It's not universally. When I write a song, I'll sing it in my voice generally, but it's like it's my lifelong thing with dilettantism, where it's like I would rather use my skills on the fringe of something because I can then add humor, I can add my own flavors to it.
Right, that makes sense, yeah.
And then I feel like it's something of value as opposed to trying to compete with people who, are dedicated, passionate artists in a more specific thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on that playing field because I don't feel it's respectful to them, and I don't think it gets the best out of me.
Well, it was so funny because I was talking with my therapist about how, I think that sometimes I think Josh, can sell himself short, that he can do anything, and then blah, blah. And then I came to the realization, I go, but me wanting to change him is wrong, and why do I believe that the conclusions you've come up with that you're comfortable with aren't right? It's like picking at you almost. I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm not, but as a psychological exercise, I have in the past done it. And then it gets to be about myself. You can do it, Josh. You can do it, but you find out it's really that I'm concerned about myself. Where you're comfortable with the choices you've made.
Well, I am and I'm not. I mean, I think that, there's obviously, I have my own fear threshold, I think the skill that is missing from all of my, first of all, I do impress myself with the amount of things I can do. Like,
well, no one's funnier than you, right?
Well, that
nobody is funnier than you.
I don't think that's true at all. But
nobody.
But I can write a joke with the best of them.
Well, that's what I mean. That's funny to me.
But I can do lots of stuff, and that's kind of what
Right.
that's been the pattern of my whole life, is jumping from thing to thing, getting very excited about it, seeing how far my natural talent will go, and then deciding if it's something I should keep doing, kind of. And that was true when I was a kid, jumping from thing to thing, and that's been true as an adult, jumping from thing to thing.
Yeah.
But where it all falls short is my constitutional ability to sell it all once I'm done with it. I can't.
Although you have been incredibly successful.
I haven't. None of the stuff.
You've been a writer on a million things.
Yeah, but the stuff I've made myself, none of it has been successful. It's been creatively successful, in my opinion.
Well, yeah,
but none of it has, and that's part of that is because I'm so perfectly content taking no for an answer ultimately that it's just like, I did it. I don't want to go out there. I don't want to have to talk you into my shit. No, fuck that.
Right.
It's arrogance in a way, and it's also fear of just engaging with the world in that way.
Yeah, but I think it's like, what I think is true is that we all have, this is probably more for me than for you, but I really am getting over the hump of that I care where it goes. Even what you said the other day was like, don't even think about the album. I think I'm over the hump of thinking I have to do something for a career or something like that. I really feel like I want to have fun and do the best comedy I can.
Right.
And so I feel good about that I'm not really, and I think that's age. It's a whole bunch
Some
of
of it.
factors.
I think that's the part that completely died in me, was being results oriented. You know what I mean?
What makes us all, I think it's hard for us all, right?
But it's, it's great in terms of making art.
Yes.
It's not great in making a living necessarily, but it's, but I've had to adapt to the framework of the only person I can shoot to please is me when I'm making something. That's, because that's the only one I can control. It's the only set of standards I can even decode. It seems,
right.
I clearly can't decode the general public's taste all that well. So,
yeah. And I think it's unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's take, for example, we're not going to ever be, I don't even know what I'm saying. We're never going to make $20 million like Karen and whoever. Those days might be gone. It's like the days of the sitcom act, the comedians getting sitcoms. But we don't know where I've been thinking more. Oh, I know. It's right. You're thinking of wrapping it up. God damn it. No, but I don't think we know where, because you have to do the whole work on the show. So taking out that you have to do all the work on the show, I feel like the show's getting better and better, and it's more fun, and I'm learning so much from it, and it is something to be so proud of, that what we've done. Not in the way of like bragging, but we've done quite a thing. And it's just like, who knows? We could get purchased by Spotify could offer us $200 million for the thing.
No. Well, that's not really in the realm of possibility,
but you know what? I think
that shouldn't. This is exactly that shouldn't matter, should it?
It shouldn't. Well, it doesn't matter.
And it clearly doesn't matter.
Well, it does
because the world has already made its verdict on whether we're going to be a successful podcast or not.
I don't agree with that. I think we are. Here's the difference between. Here is the actual difference between what I believe. People listen. There are a lot of people, maybe not enough, but there's a lot of people who are enjoying what we're doing.
Absolutely,
for the good reason.
By that measure, it's a total success. I absolutely, for all of us who are a part of it, that's why we do it. If there wasn't enough energy coming back at us to make it feel like it was worth doing, this would have been over a long time ago. But
we never tried to market it or anything. We never.
Well, we
really
did. We made that big push the first year. We went on all the podcasts, and
You know what I decided, Josh? This is what I think is the thing about our show that sets it apart. And again, I believe inside I'm Weinstein, but I'm pretending not to be.
Yeah.
I listen to all these shows. I think you're going to agree with this. I listen to all these shows, and I want to listen to it's a true crime, but they're hosted by two people, and they can't stop joking
right
all the time, right? I think we're one of the few people who only jokes all the time because that's the purpose of the show. It's a thought spiral.
Right.
I just don't think there's a lot of people doing that. Just by the fact that they have guests and everything else.
Right. No, I don't think there are either. The question is, how many people find
when you get tired? I think if you,
I think this is sort of just whatever, but I mean, I think the thing that we have, the thing that we've put on display, is all of the dynamics of an actual real friendship.
That's exactly right.
You know, both good and bad. You know, edgy and warm, all of those things. But basically, our friendship has taken place entirely out loud over the last 6 years, you know.
And I have learned so much from our relationship. I mean, it's like I told my therapist, there were years ago, I would just get mad. I thought, and then we get mad. And it's like I'm working through. I never have had friendships that much, you know. So it's like a lot of, you know, it's a lot of OCD, a lot of the stuff. So it's kind of like, it's very cool. It's very cool. It's
cool for me as well. I do have friendships, but I cherish yours among them.
Right. And I'm not saying I don't have friendships, but I think I'm in the mode of I'm in the mode of my father and mother who are just really isolated in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And so we didn't grow up in a house where there was a lot of, oh, here's another party. When we had those, like when Irene and Harry would come over, I was so excited about it. You know,
right.
My mom, but it wasn't like it happened a lot. You know, I just didn't see their friends a lot,
right.
Except they went to antique shows, but that was.
Well, I think the thing that probably makes it a different kind of friendship too is that it's not fragile.
Well, and that's the only way that it can be. Is I think you can't build on it. And this is like probably a crucible for what will happen with a friendship.
Yes,
I don't know what crucible means.
This is good though. It worked though.
It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show.
Okay, here we go. I bet this. Oh, Pickles. Oh, Pickles, you own me. Or what is it? You complete me. Pickles says, I'm watching The Partridge Family, and all the characters are wearing robes over pajamas. This was in 1972. Andy, my friend, were you want to wear a robe in 1972? I don't think I had a robe. The first robe that I ever really wore was when I was on the Arsenio Hall show. I gave it to my dad. I'm not a robe guy. You might be a robe guy from way back.
Not a robe guy, no. I think, I don't even know if I currently own a robe. I had a bathrobe for a while.
I don't have pajamas.
It was, there was more of a reason for a robe when I had like a little kid running around the house.
Right. Exactly. You're trying to shield them from horribleness.
Yeah, no one needs
Mike
to see
Hanrat. Sorry.
No one needs to see stepdad's doinkle.
Yeah, seriously. Even you telling the story made me sick. I'm just kidding. Mike Hanratty says, the guitarist Al Di Meola will cook a meal for you and your guests for only $7,500. Upgrades available too. What would you charge to have someone to your home? It's not going to happen. It doesn't sound like a fun thing, but that's for Josh.
That's for me?
Yeah, because I'm not having anybody come to the home. I'm not cooking up a meal. Why do I want Al Di Meola's meal so much?
I don't know. I bet he cooks I bet he cooks super fast. I bet he cooks like really fast. Watch him chop.
B.D. West says, guys, I live by two precepts. Treat others as you hope to be treated, and no good deed goes unpunished. I need a third thing. Guys, are there any rules you live your lives by? That's a tough one.
I'll give you my dad's. One of my dad's faves was, there's no right way to do the wrong thing.
I like that one. I had one the other day that was like and I was even going to talk about it because it wasn't healthy, wealthy, but it was one of those things. And what a great story.
Tweet Bahara says this goes out to Wampus Reynolds. Yes, let's meet up before Andy's shows here in Austin. I'll be in touch, Josh. Come join us. Austin is fun. I like Austin. I have no business there, but I like.
Yeah,
Austin.
That's the thing. We're not doing the. I got scared thinking about the live.
I played
podcast.
the Paramount Theater, for God's sake, in Austin.
Yeah. Why did you want to?
Don't Call Me Boopsy says, I was intrigued enough by Winkleman versus Lindner that I Googled it and got the following Weinstein Sr. quote. There's a hell of a lot more going on between these guys. The fish is flying, so to speak. My dad could have said that. He could have well said that in an article.
I don't understand who Winkleman and Linders are.
It's because you don't listen or remember things I talk about.
What were you talking about?
My father's legal case of Babe Winkleman versus Al.
I got it.
Right.
Babe Winkleman was sued. I forgot why he was sued because someone said
he was suing.
He was suing somebody else
Yes.
who took something from him.
Uh-huh.
And your father won that case, right?
I don't think he did. No.
Oh, bad story. Sous Vide says, it's so weird. My partner doesn't like to mess around when I'm high, saying that they should be enough. Meanwhile, they like to use vibrators when we mess around. Like I said, it's weird. It's weird, but I've never been more excited reading a letter in my entire life.
I know. Put it away, Andy.
What? This is not. I can't touch myself during the show. Oh, that's wrong.
New rules.
Okay, what does she mean? Doesn't like to mess around?
I think it's doing the bunka bunka bunka.
Oh no, this is like Annie Hall. She couldn't have sex with Woody Allen unless she was high, and he has got to. They like to use vibrators from it. So he's bringing his own props, or she?
No, well they're saying it should be. I should be enough, and yet they are with a vibrator.
Yeah. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah,
that's what I say. It's time to break up or grow.
Break up or grow, or okay.
Grow at Grow Music says, you two have been hired by an eccentric millionaire to do a comedy road trip across the country. The catch is you have to share a car and hotel rooms. Josh, how long do you last, and how do you break it off? The disappearing act, text message, heartfelt one-on-one, letter?
Well, I definitely would break it off on the podcast. I think we could last a couple weeks out there together, probably.
Well, eccentric millionaire, that's the main thing there. I'm assuming there's money involved.
Yeah, I mean, there's good money. If there's, I think I'm at a point in my life where, the amount of money is a part of the equation for the length of time.
And also, that's not what would send you home. What would send you home would be
the room share.
No, it would be like, Josh, did I ever tell you about when you should leave to go to the rental car? One of those speeches where I'm telling you. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, a lot of those things would, all of the precautions you thought we should take would probably.
Walton Lauder. Would it surprise you to hear that some of my boss's lawyers aren't quite top notch? You know what's up? I don't know even what's happening with it, so I don't even really know. I know he almost got thrown out of court.
Yeah, well, that was in the E. Jean Carroll case.
Right. Are there any of his guys who are top notch? No, they're all evil, first of all, at this point.
Right.
You can't just be a very good lawyer who wants to represent a client. You have to be an evil fuck.
Right. Well, the top notch guys want to get paid, first of all.
And he doesn't pay.
Although I think it's the campaign is paying for everything, so.
Oh, okay.
Steven Chaotic Neutral says, hey guys, as funny as the shingles doesn't care thing is, I think it's overshadowed by the sinister warning that I could miss out on family time. The way the voiceover guy says it, Shingles might as well be Dad's name when he dresses up as a clown.
Very good, Chaotic Neutral. You have taken questions to a new level, don't you think?
Shingles doesn't care.
Yeah, but I've been eating better than I've ever eaten. I walk 4 or 3 miles a day. What do I care about it then, right? Yeah. You wouldn't play the part. Christopher Citro.
Because I think my shingles actually might be coming back. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I thought once she comes back, it's gone.
You'd think. This might be it might be a continuation, or it might be.
But then you could get the shot though eventually, right?
And then it's like a year after you get it. You can get the shot.
Oh, okay. Christopher Citro says, my buddy who works at Whole Foods had a very old man come up and ask, are you pleased with your career path? Someone else overheard this guy ask someone on the phone who'd been to a beauty parlor, will that make you feel better? Thoughtful person or just a jerk? It really depends on how they're asking. Kind of, right? No, You should never ask anybody if they're happy with their career path. That's not like something I would do. You like working here at Trader Joe's, right?
All right.
That sounds like me.
It sounds sarcastic. There's no way around it.
Yeah. And there's a picture of Mr. Magoo. I think you're the only person who can do the Stephen Elton Yates questions, and you're the only person who can handle the vocabulary of them.
Stephen L. Yates says SNL, SCTV, Kids in the Hall, Monty Python, Mr. Show. Do you gents have a favorite comedy show?
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go.
SCTV is my favorite but those are all great shows. I don't know enough about Monty Python is the thing, but they're all pretty great shows. But I think SCTV is the one I keep going back to from the bits from it, And Kids in the Hall is pretty great. It's hard.
Yeah. I don't have a favorite because I'm not a pick a favorite kind of guy, but they all have SNL was probably the earliest influence in that regard.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
As a very young kid, I was like a Belushi fanatic because I was a fat kid, I think. SCTV took me longer. Like I was too young to sort of get the more
when it first came out.
Get the satire level of it when it first came out, and I was a little thrown off by the production values of it compared to Saturday Night Live too.
Yeah.
But when I finally did watch it with understanding eyes, I think it's unbelievably funny. Kids in the Hall, very high percentage hit rate. Monty Python, forever great. Mr. Show is the one I have too much. I've only seen some of.
I've seen a decent amount because I went to a taping and all that. But the truth is I didn't watch all their shows. I don't watch all of a lot of shows.
Yeah.
So, but what does that comment mean? I don't know what I was going for there. Dan Marsh says, hey guys, do you have any favorite cocktails? And Josh, even though the heyday of the Supper Club was before your time, do you like any of their classic mixed drinks like a grasshopper? I've made a grasshopper because I was a bartender who went to a mixology school, and I don't think anybody would enjoy a grasshopper. It's cheap, creme de menthe. I don't even think there's alcohol in it except for there's no vodka even.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean, it's creme de menthe is the featured player with the grasshopper. I don't know. The old cocktails, maybe. I like a gin and tonic. You could get that at a supper club. I don't mind.
You like martinis?
I do like a martini for sure.
Oh.
I like both gin and vodka martinis. I like. I don't mind a rusty nail or a whiskey sour.
Wait, you mean a Scotch and Drambuie?
That's a rusty nail. Yeah.
I'm still bragging about my mixology knowledge.
There was a line in Gary Gulman's special talking about how people with low self-esteem, they expect everything to go wrong. So when something goes right, they just celebrate the shit out of it. And I could only think of you at that moment.
I'm going to watch that. He knows I haven't seen it yet.
Well, tell him I have, will you?
I will. I'm sorry that you enjoyed it.
Except for one bit. Tell him.
John Dunbar says, Josh is off the cut. I'm starting again.
Let me do it. Let me do it. It's more than 2 lines. Let me do it.
Yeah.
John Dunbar says, Josh's off-the-cuff recital of that Blues Traveler tune was even more jaw-dropping than his rendition of Harry Nilsson's The Cast and Crew from Skidoo. It almost made me want to hear that Blues Traveler song. Just almost.
I think that's a great song.
I like that song, but
it's one of their hits.
It is. Johnny Whoops says, what's the spammer in the works when it comes to Andy wanting to continue this podcast? It's clear he wants out, but there's no way we listen with a different dynamic duo.
What's he saying?
Well, even Alex was saying a couple weeks ago you were starting to sound cranky and short fused with me. But I think that's worked its way out.
I don't think that's right. I mean, I can show you when I was short fused.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought too?
No, I thought it was just, I can ride the subtleties of
medium crank.
I play the long game. You know me.
That's so funny because, it just shows you that.
But no, Alex did a couple weeks ago, right? And go, is everything okay with you guys?
I thought the last few shows we've done have been some of my favorite shows.
I think other people have felt that way too because they had dynamics.
Right. Now, I think it's always annoying when after the 15th thing that I don't listen to you, and those things will always be things, but is my condition getting worse? No. I'm enjoying myself.
I'm getting that myself, and I'm pleased.
Seth Dick III says, do you think people would be more positive about the economy if they didn't piss their money away on gambling, Bitcoin, and phone games? Joe Biden isn't forcing you to bet your salary on a 10-leg parlay, you dumb bastard. I could not say enough about how true this is. And the thing that put it over the top was the greedy NFL partnering with gambling and doing every way to encourage you to gamble during the commercial. But it's okay because it says if you have a problem, you should call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Right. Because otherwise it's healthy. It's a healthy thing to do until you declare yourself troubled. Yeah, no, it's not just the NFL. It's all the leagues, and it's insidious, and it's it's going to destroy a lot of people.
Something's going to happen too with it. I think, like some big.
There's going to. Well, I think the one thing for sure is going to happen is there's going to be cheating scandals.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was kind of saying. Yeah, this is terrible. It almost guarantees it.
It really does. When the leagues are saying that gambling is inherent to your enjoyment of the game.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing? They have this one where there's a woman and she's these guys are talking and they're idiots and she's going, I'm not betting on this team. She starts rattling off statistics, sorry. And it gives you the impression that there's some kind of skill involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's really on it. Well, there's skill,
there is
but
skill
you'll lose your
involved.
money.
Yeah.
Of course there's skill.
Right.
But you'll eventually lose your money if you go that route.
Right.
When I used to go to Vegas, I would play all the parlays and all the stuff. That was fun.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you have to physically leave your state to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Then I would do all the things like a pick six or whatever.
I mean, it's not that I think it's healthy, but I think it's, it's not the same kind of crime we're talking about right now.
Yeah, well, it's not in-house crime.
In pocket.
In pocket, right?
It's just like
so obscene.
It's it's worse than drugs because it can be hidden longer. While more damage can be done while it's hidden for longer. It seems like.
And there are so many ways that they're going to be fuck ups, and I'm looking forward to it.
Are you getting?
Now we're going to go
the
over
Carlin phase of life now.
No,
where it's just like you're just watching the human experiment with no stake in its outcome, whether it succeeds.
That was my least favorite part of him when he said, "If you're a mercenary and you go, all that stuff." That seemed was not my favorite part. But he was a very angry person. That's where his comedy came from too.
Yeah, I mean, not always, but certainly the last act was that.
And just the weirdness of going back to Vegas when you hate it.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him there when he clearly hated being there.
Did you tell me that already?
I'm sure I've told you everything.
Oh. And was it a weird show?
It wasn't a weird show. It was just totally uninspired. It was just a notebook.
Yeah.
It was just a notebook dump.
Well, I think he always felt that way.
Yeah.
About Vegas.
Daisy Petunia says, Jason Parton, come back. We miss you. He can't hear you. He's listening to Joe Rogan.
I still feel bad about it. I feel bad, and then I don't feel bad. If it's really about me not doing the podcast,
I doubt it was. I was kidding when I said that, by the way.
But I didn't do the podcast.
No, I mean that was
right?
a dick move. No, but I don't think that was the deciding move.
It wasn't a dick move because we had scheduled to do it, and he couldn't do it the first time.
Fair enough.
Okay, fuck it.
Zeke Fossey commented, I have always wanted to be a part of this community, and I am so grateful for the support of the people who support me and the people I love. Without you and the community, I would not be able to be a member of this community anymore. That said, I would like to be able to help you with your project, and I would like to be a part of it. I suppose I am just by virtue of this long-winded epistle. I suppose I am just by virtue of this long-winded epistle.
But what is he? What further thing would he do? We don't pay anybody.
Are we going to like Zeke's Corner?
Zeke, I appreciate your look on life and your way you express yourself. How does that sound?
Fosse's all that jazz. Dan Wade is back to say they just announced a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I hope Chancellor Tootie Tootie is prominently featured.
I didn't hear about that, and the fact that I didn't hear about it means.
God damn! Oh, Dan, why would you bring that up in front of him?
Is it with all the same people?
Everyone. That's what I heard.
Everyone who was on the original.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Even recurring characters.
Yeah, everyone.
Well, I feel on.
Munson 3786 says, Gentlemen, what would you do if you met Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas? I would take out my paper money and fan it in one hand. I would dangle it over his head and pull it away as he lunges for it. We'd do this over and over until he got tired.
There is no worse human. Well, there are
worse
very
human
few
beings,
worse human beings. He's just through and through evil, greedy piece of. I don't even want to say he's a piece of garbage, but I just think he's he's a garbage person. I don't know. Just let's go.
Garbage person's always good.
He's a garbage person.
Dan Wade says, hey guys, I've been pleasantly surprised with the new show After Midnight. Even more so once I saw that the great Joe Firestone was the head writer. Any chance either of you will be on the show someday?
I don't even know what it is.
It's a new show after Colbert, and it's I can't remember her name who's starring in it, but
who's hosting it?
Yeah,
it's like a talk show.
It's like I think it's like a panel talk show. Yeah,
well, I'm all for it because I need the work.
All right.
I think first of all,
is there any chance? There's
helps.
probably a bigger chance they'd invite Andy than me. That's all I can say. If they ask me, I will. If asked, I will serve though.
And I'm glad that there's more women in show business. I mean, given jobs in show business.
Wampus Reynolds. Hello. I know Andy is tempted by a TCM cruise, and who can blame him? The chance to ask George Chakiris how working with Chad Everett on Medical Center would be well worth the price alone. But how intriguing does the TCM wine of the month sound to you? Wouldn't you love to pour a glass of Forrest Gump Pinot Gris, a real item, for a loved one? Thanks, guys, for putting the mustard on the questions. Never fails to delight. Have a couple of coffees on me. Why, thank you.
Sounds nice, Rampus Round. Yeah, I think the cruise is great, and the wine. I think it's a miss. It's a miss. And there's been so many wine clubs already. These people are probably in the New York Times wine club. They're in the wine club's wine club. But it is. What do you think?
I was just waiting to see how you got down.
How long? When
he turned around at the end of the cul-de-sac there. Sansofel says, how does Andy not know about Fozzie the Bear? Also, you know how ancient moral teachings are considered wise and universal for the most part, but also they used to burn witches and stuff? Well, what if the actual moral teachings were like, if you club it and it ain't dead, you beat it till it dead sure.
I like that. I like the whole feel of this.
I feel like you're disengaged and you're just playing the rhythm of being a host now.
I do have a question though. What is Fozzie the Bear? That's from After My Time, right?
It's the Muppets. He's a prime.
Well, that's
a prime
why.
Muppet. Yes.
That's why I can't even tell you. Has anyone answered who the monster at the end of the book is?
Yes, it was Grover. Someone did.
It was Grover.
Yeah.
And is that the type of thing that Grover would do?
Grover's a delight.
It's not sad, but I'm never going to have the same feeling that you people have. You younger people, where it was a part of your life and the whole thing. I don't even know the names of them.
You know Kermit the Frog, right?
Kermit the Frog, but I don't
Miss
think
Piggy,
I could see.
Right?
Yes, but I couldn't see a Muppet movie though. I don't think you've seen them all.
I have not seen them all. No, but
have you seen any of them?
I've seen the first few when I was a kid. Pretty good? The first Muppet movie is a delight.
What is it called?
It's called The Muppet Movie.
That's the one I'm going to see.
Just the cameos alone will delight you.
I'm ready. That's not right.
Back guano here. I was watching Lady Dynamite, and in the pilot on the wall of the talent agency, there's a photo of Andy doing stand-up. I do not have a 70-inch television, however, and I'm pretty sure it is Andy. Who is below Yoda indeed? All the best, Back guano.
Well, Back guano, that's an interesting
thing. That's
thing.
another callback to a funny joke I made a while back.
What was the joke?
You didn't know about Star Wars. You goes, who's below Yoda? I said Frank Oz, technically. You still don't understand that joke, do you?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to back it down for me?
Okay.
This late in the show, you want to explain things to me?
My dogs are going cuckoo.
What was this question? I wanted to comment on it.
It was about you, a picture of you and Lady Dynamite on the wall.
Oh, I wanted to say that, yeah, it was, I wasn't disappointed, but I really didn't end up I think I was cut out almost. Or maybe had a line in it. You always want more.
Yes. That's your problem,
I love
That's
doing
your problem.
Yeah, that is my problem. I deserve it. And whoever dies with the big toys wins. Whoever dies with the most toys wins. It's going crazy over there.
Whoever doesn't die after my dogs are killing them like a pack of jackals.
Is that a signal to wrap up the show, you think?
No, it's a signal someone's walking by my house. Some dick like you.
You took all of the gloss off of your hate there, or whatever it is.
Anyway, those are our questions for the day. If you want,
you know what? This is the kind of a show where I do want people to go to buymeacupofcoffee.com, and I do want to not be hung up on, and I do want to be able to be. First of all, I don't hang up on people because I was raised properly.
That's what I hear. If anything, I've learned it's that you were raised properly.
Oh, that's right. Ha 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 ha. Bing bang.